some areas of the world open back up, and people are somewhat starting to get back to normal, or a little hint of normal. Daphne, the question keeps coming up as to what the future of work will look like for us. Will people all be going back to the office? Will we have some sort of a hybrid model? And your article is really interesting here in terms of what people are really feeling, personally, about wanting to go back to the office or not. What did you find here?
So what I found here was that there was up to 3/4 of workers who did not want to go back to the office full time, quite predictably. So that sounds like quite a big number, but actually you have to sort of read between the lines a bit. We're talking about workers who don't want to go back to the office every day of the week from 9 to 5, sitting at a desk. There's equally a very low proportion of workers who want to go remote full time. It seems that what people want is more of a balance or a flexible model where they go into the office when they want to, or they stay home when they want to. But what the report points to is that workers have definitely started finding some perks and some benefits to working from home. Some have noticed that there are even less distractions at home than there are in the office. Some feel more productive. Some feel like they're working a bit more and a bit better because they don't have to commute. So various different things that contribute to workers feeling like they are thriving in their new home working environment. And an interesting sort of phenomenon that's happening that the report pointed to as well was that employees feel like the perception that employers have of working from home is changing. So working from home in the past perhaps was typically associated for some companies and some employers with working less productively, or with a chance to do less work because there is less supervision. And a lot of employees in this report have reported that they feel like this is no longer the case, or at least that this perception has shifted a little bit. So they might have more confidence in the future to sort of ask their employers to be able to stay at home a few days a week, for example.
Yeah, it's interesting just to take a commute out of the equation for some people. Really, such a huge quality of life booster to not have to, sit in a car every day, 2 hours or whatever it may be. What about the opposite, though, Daphne? I know that there are some. I just thinking about my own friend group for that matter. There's a couple that say, "Wow, this is really great," and they want to be home more. And then there's others that are really itching to get back to the office. Are we seeing a little bit of both in terms of some wanting to also really go back?
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously not the case of everyone that they have found the home working environment the best one to do some productive work. It's highly contextual. As you said, some people uh, love it a lot more than others. It depends on how you are working at home. Some people are working, especially in this context, with young children that they have to homeschool. Some people are sort of cramming into city centres in small flats with little access to outdoor spaces. And in those scenarios, home working can quickly become sort of claustrophobic and unproductive. And there are other reports that have shown that there is a sort of mental health problem going on here, with people who are struggling to draw a line between their private life and their work life due to being in the same environment all the time. There's difficulty of unplugging. Some employees have said that they're actually putting in longer hours than they would in the office. So all of this contributing to a sort of imbalance and a struggle to balance your life and work. So it's certainly not the case that everyone wants to stay at home full time. And a lot of respondents have said that they are feeling actually more unproductive. In reality, this is not exactly the case. Some reports have shown that the productivity levels overall since the start of the crisis have only dipped by 1%, but this number doubles to 2% for people with children and 3% for people working from home alone. So it's highly contextual. It depends on every personal scenario, but it's certainly not the case that everyone wants to stay at home full time. Definitely not.
Yeah, I can definitely see it both ways. All right. Well, what does it say for the future, though? What is, in terms of this survey and what the company behind it is thinking, what does it mean long term for us?
So the survey, interestingly, was carried out by the digital identification company Okta, and they have started embracing what they call flexible working about a year ago. Coincidentally, they obviously didn't know a pandemic was coming, but they started trialing a new sort of office design in the office in London. So their offices in London now can only accommodate about 2/3 of their workforce. And the default option is that employees will be wanting to work from home. And if they do want to come into the office, they just book their space via an app, and they can just come and sit at a desk all day. But this is what they call flexible working, and it's potentially more of the model that we are shifting towards. And in their own words, they call this, well, they compared their office to, for example, an Apple store. So the idea behind that is that instead of having one big office where everybody comes every day, you have smaller offices, perhaps more dispersed. And employers, and you come to the office for a good reason, so because they need advice or because they have a team meeting and so on. But the sort of traditional model where we come into an office and sit by default every single day is probably no longer going to be the case moving forward.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it. Well, if anything, it'll be interesting just to see how, how this pandemic really shapes our world going forward. Daphne, thank you so much. I give the full article, of course, up on ZDNet, and we hope all you guys will check it out there. Thanks for watching.